Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Helck, episode 24, the finale. The finale, although, if I'm to be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't really feel that much like a finale, you know? And I've been wondering why. I've been asking myself that question, and I think that's because the overarching story, the overarching plot. First of all, there is multiple overarching stories, overarching plots that will take more than just a single arc of the show. And it's not all that common, I guess. What I mean is that most commonly in anime, the overarching plot is something very, very distant or very immeasurable. Like, I know, in Pokemon, Ash wants to be the Pokemon master, and oh, suddenly there's a new island that he needs to become a master of to progress, and oh, there's another region, and another region, and another region, and the overarching plot of becoming the Pokemon master kind of gets lost, right? So we don't expect the Ash becoming the Pokemon master to be the climax, the conclusion of any given season of Pokemon. Meanwhile, we have those smaller arcs, like becoming a leader of a gym in some special region, for example. Meanwhile, when it comes to Helck, the overarching plot, the overarching goal of taking down the king, taking down Mikaros, all of those are very tangible, very real, and very much within reach. And yet we are not reaching for them. It really seems like this season will end up with just taking down Rafaed, whatever that entails. Perhaps, I know, helping with the cleanup, maybe saving Azedra if all goes well. But we will not touch Mikaros, we will not touch the king. So that's why it doesn't feel that much like a finale yet. It feels like the midpoint of a split core season, right? Like we are ending here for now, but in 3 seasons time, part 2 will arrive, and in part 2 we will complete the arc fully. That's how it feels, I guess. Which I guess is a testament to how interesting and unique the writing of this show is. Right? That it doesn't have that intangible, far-reaching, overarching plot, but rather something very tangible, something very much achievable, but because the journey just strays here and there are constant bumps on the road, we are ever so slightly away from reaching that goal at any given time. It's interesting, for sure. So, what happened in the previous episode? Let's maybe talk about that. In the previous episode, Rafaed started marching to Helck's positions. On his way, he started destroying some camps that the demons prepared to receive Vermilio and Helck, of course. And he did meet Helck. And they are fighting right now. Helck and Vermilio versus Rafaed. And that's basically the summary. Now there's more to that, of course. The position of Helck was discovered because Helck threw himself at Mikaros once, and Mikaros was able to take a blood sample, and thanks to that blood sample he can now track Helck's position, kind of like the locator spell that Azedra used. And the goal isn't so much to take Helck down as it is to provoke him to start rampaging. Because when he's rampaging, when he doesn't have his wits about him, he's not going to help the demons. because he's not going to have the sanity to do that. What they didn't account for, of course, was Vermilio, that she is Helck's anchor and she can keep him sane, if just so slightly. So that's a big bump in their plans, but of course they are fighting still. Rafed versus Vermilio. Helck was already this close to losing his shit when he thought that Vermilio was hurt, but no, thankfully she evaded. She's no slouch. She's able to keep her ground fighting Rafed. And yeah, that's where we ended. Helck is fighting angels and Vermilio is fighting Rafed. Well, okay, one more important thing. One of the angels that arrived is Alicia. So, that's going to change things. That is very much going to change things. Seemingly, at least. Roibos. Seemingly, I say, because I'm still not sure if Helck maybe, just maybe, got over her death so far. Already, rather. Right, because we have to remember that Alicia lives just because Helck's selfishness, let's call it what it is. Helck didn't want to give up. Helck told her to keep living. I'm not gonna kill you. We will meet again. There's gonna be hope. Yada yada yada. Maybe he understands that Alicia died the moment she was turned into a hero, and will finally fulfill her wish and will finally kill her and free her. Maybe not. All of that remains to be seen, of course. We know that Alicia's mind has been scrambled a little bit by Mikaros. They don't want to risk the same thing that happened to Edil, where Edil was able to overcome the mind control and they had to scramble his mind for him to succumb to mind control again. I wonder if perhaps Alicia's mind is stronger. That would be the best possible outcome. She goes over the scrambling and over the mind control. That would be preferable, of course, but something tells me we might have a very bittersweet conclusion to that, and she will just die in Helck's arms by Helck's hands. And Helck, as promised, will smile at her. That seems like a very poetic scene that would fit right in, I guess. Yeah, so from today's episode, I expect the fight with Alicia, the fight with Rafed. Maybe Helck and Vermilio will arrive at Castle Urum, I think. I'm not sure what the castle is called. And they will see that Azadra is dead. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe they will save him still. And they will help with rebuilding or something and planning their next move. I don't know. Something along those lines, probably. But how about I just stop talking and we start watching, right? To do it, you will need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon or YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 24, the finale of Helck, in 3, 2, 1, go. And we get a recap anyway. Yeah, that's better. Yep. Alicia. I honestly was half expecting them to skip the opening, if I'm to be honest. But I guess the fact that we get the recap and the opening in every episode is kind of a testament to Helck's style, meaning it's very much not stylized, but it's made in the style of like old school 90s, early 2000s anime, right? You had to have a recap, you had to have the opening, then you had to have flashbacks to the previous episode, right? Then there was the episode itself, then the ending, then the preview of the next episode, so that the episode can take as little time as possible, because you're supposed to be dishing them out weekly, and they're not divided in seasons. You know it from Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, etc. I mean, still better than Shangri-La having the useless intro at the beginning of every episode. Towards a hopeful future. Well, that fills me with hope. Hopefully. Yeah, that's better. That's a big ass sword. Yeah, don't you worry about Anne. She'll manage. Oh, the eyes started being ever so slightly different. Yep. Oh, that was cool. And yet, there's a seed of doubt in your mind. I mean, yeah, that's like plenty obvious. Yes. And Vermilio knows all about it. Oh? Oh, Helck's power spilling out? Or what's going on? Yeah, it started leaking ever so slightly. Or is it hers? No, it has to be Helck's. Yep, the Hero Slayer. Look at that face, though. There's not a hint of that, like, darkness and intensity that he usually wields when his power is out of control. He doesn't look like a Baki character. Is it, though? Take off the helmet, and is it really her? It is. What happened with her eye, though? I mean, I know that her eye was like all weird when she was transforming, but everybody else was looking normal, right? Like Haru, Zelgion. What do you intend to do now? Do you want to stop Helck? Do you want to kill Alicia in his stead to lessen his suffering, or... I mean, he was hiding it pretty well, so it's not really on you that you weren't able to see it fully. I mean, yeah, sure, the ideal situation would be to save humanity, but should that prove to be impossible, then there's only one other option, right? Will he, though? I still have my doubts. Helck grew as a character an awful lot since last you've seen him. So, yeah. Oh, Hero Slayer? Should have aimed a little lower, my girl. Oh. So, was I correct thinking that Raphael is a hero? Masaka. Bakana. No, it wasn't. Everybody will welcome him with open arms. Harol? Or whose nuke was that? Vermilios? Vermilios, okay. I thought some demon reinforcements arrived. Human reinforcements. Okay. Alright. Okay. I'm down. I'm down. Question. Is there a way to save humans, though? Yeah, she didn't just immediately slit your throat. Fair. And we know that because Edil was able to break through the mind control. Huh. Right, there might just about be a way. Not Raphael, though. You can kill him. Also, it's questionable whether Mikaros is still a human or not, so he doesn't really count for that either. Yeah. Let it out, Helck. Cue her being stabbed through the chest by Raphael's blade. That would have been like the perfect subversion of everything that happened. Okay, Helck didn't break, but Vermilio did. Okay. That's a nice change. Well, let us hope. Yeah, I guess genocide never sat well with her. Eh. I mean, sure, it is a bad choice, meaning that it's easier to wipe humanity off the map and survive than try to save humanity, your sworn enemy essentially right now. But in the long run, you gain a powerful ally, you gain some friends, right? So quick and easy, or long and hard, but long and hard gives more benefits. Are you sure about that? You didn't cast the magic. How do you know how it works? Yeah? Big if true. Oh. Okay, wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm glad we get to see a little bit of her fangs. Hmm. An underground bunker full of clones that he transfers his mind into. And there he is. Okay, I'm really liking where this episode is going. I really like where it's going. Yeah, probably. And it seems like Dorsch is also okay, and Hura. Yeah, you're gonna break his bones even more than they are broken right now. Exactly. Uh, hmm. Come on. Oh, I thought he's gonna do the come at me. I'm assuming that's Alicia's seal. Let at least one head roll in this episode. Whomst? Oh, Alicia? I thought someone else arrived. I guess he just walks away. Okay. Sure. Fine. Why don't we just let him go? Yeah, that's what he really wanted. But the only path to saving them that he saw was just freeing them from their current state, right? Slaying them all, defeating them all, killing all humanity to free them and save them in that, like, metaphysical sense, right? Freeing their souls. Young Azadra and someone. Helck's father, maybe? Ah. Good question, actually. Oh, what are you? Hmm. And we're back to this gag. Okay, so they returned safely as well. Okay, that's gonna be useful. That's gonna be a deterrent to humans as well. Okay. That's good. Truly a cockroach. Rising music. Hmm. Alright. I'm down. Not like 100% of what I would call a standard anime finale, but very much felt like a finale, right? It's actually surprising how much this felt like a finale of a season, you know? Usually it requires some sort of a big battle, killing the big bad, yada yada. No, none of that. There wasn't a big battle. No, in fact, they like swore off big battles. And yet it worked. Interesting. Interesting because there are plenty of anime that have seemingly everything that would be required for a finale, right? Big fight, killing the big bad, huge changes, etc., etc. And yet those finales don't always feel like a proper finale. This is kind of like the opposite. It could have just been a... Oh? Season 2? Season 2? A? A? Is that a season 2 announcement that I just witnessed, or what? Huh. Maybe not, actually. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe those were just scenes from like previous episodes. Yeah, the rabbit dance. Yeah. Okay, so those were just scenes from previous episodes. Some sort of a season summary, I guess. And here I thought that this is like, in the next season, you will see Vermilio dance with bunny ears. Kind of sort of deal. But alas. Hey, let's spend a little bit more time with this season and watch this episode again. Shall we? There we go. Yeah, Rafaed 100% is a hero. I have absolutely no doubt. Maybe a hero of old, right? One of the heroes before Helck and Kles. Or maybe he was heroified. He doesn't have white hair though, so heroification is probably not what happened here. He is some sort of a hero or hero adjacent. Maybe a lesser hero or something like that. The sheer fact that he can swing a sword as huge as this with such an ease, that's already a big giveaway, but the fact that he reacted so badly to a hero slayer really tells me that he is somehow adjacent to a hero. I really like how Vermilio is casting her spells, almost like dancing with the fire. Yeah, I really like it. I really like, in particular, how Vermilio's fire magic, and in general it seems like magic in this world, isn't limited to spells, right? Like, you don't cast fire stream, fireball, 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 fire ring, right? But rather you control fire, so you can just use fire. You think of summoning a stream of fire, so you do just that. You don't need to have any invocation, any incantation, anything. It's interesting. It's cool. Makes it a very flexible and very, I guess, loose and blurry magic system without any like specific rules. Cool. Despite all the power he holds, he doesn't use it for himself. I mean, yeah, all this time, Rafael just tells Vermilio exactly what she already knew. Nothing new that he said here. Except I guess he made Vermilio realize that it's not actually what Helck wants. Like, sure, he can maybe overcome this pain and sorrow. He would be able to grit his teeth and go through with the plan of killing humanity. he is strong enough to be able to do that. But ultimately, he doesn't want that. He wants to save humanity. He wants to save his friends. That's his goal. And so far, the only way towards that goal that he saw is killing all the humans and freeing them, freeing their souls at least. Saving them in that way at least, saving them from the fate of being mindless automatons controlled by Mikaros. That was the only way he saw of saving them. But there might be another one. There might just be another one. But he was hesitating. Yes, he was. He felt uneasy about it. Yes. Because it's a big task having to genocide your own species, essentially, including all of your friends. You didn't actually want to destroy all humans? Yeah. I mean, who would? That will also finally free him from all his suffering, and of course, Raphael is the defeatist one. It's a very interesting, I guess, contrast between Raphael and Vermilio here, right? Vermilio is very hopeful about everything, and Raphael is completely a doomer. Oh, we cannot reverse the process anymore. The humanity is doomed as it is. All you can do is give up quickly to save the pain and suffering. And Vermilio thinks, no, fuck you. We can do it. We can win. We can save humanity. Oh, Helck is too far gone. He will turn into a monster. No, the fuck he won't. Azudra is dead. He died. But no, the fuck he didn't. It's a very, very interesting contrast here. Raphael wants to bring Helck down, wants to drag him down into defeatism, into giving up. Meanwhile, Vermilio just lifts him up from that despair. It's cool. I like it. Helck is strong. He won't go on a rampage. Helck's power is starting to fade. I really didn't know what happened here. The nuke suddenly just exploded, and then we see a flying figure in the sky. For a moment, I was really confused here. What exactly happened? I thought that Harul, because he also wears a like hood, and this looks like wearing a hood, and he's a mage as well. I thought Harul arrived and just cast a nuke spell at Vermilio, or something along those lines. But no, it's Vermilio who created the nuke, and this is Alicia running away, escaping. They're not dead yet, and we will have a confirmation about it when we hear what happened to Edil from Hura. We will have a confirmation that the mind control can be broken. Yeah, that's where it was all building up to. The discussion that Helck had with Edil, that was already one thing that shows that they are not entirely lost, but they have their own personality and their memories, etc., but they are still controlled into doing Mikaros's bidding. That was the state of heroes at the moment when Helck talked to Edil. But we know that even that can be overcome. With enough emotion, with enough desire, with enough strength, it can also be overcome. Just like that. This world is incredibly vast. You've seen it for yourself. Yes, actually. A great example of that would be Augis, for example, who tapped into some ancient power of the earth itself, or whatever the fuck that was. Nobody knows how it works anymore, but it exists somewhere. Who's to say a counterspell to heroification doesn't exist somewhere as well? Maybe you can dip the hero slayer in water and create a whatchamacallit, what's the, like, what's the name for this, like, fake scam medicine that tells if you, like, dip a drop of something in 10 liters of water, then that water magically gets the effects of that. You know what I mean. You certainly know what I mean. But yeah, maybe you can do it like that and create a medicine. Or maybe there's some ritual. Maybe... Oh, actually, I guess a theory for seasons in the future, unless I already noted it down, because I might very well have. Shalami's skill can help unfuck the world is how I have it noted down, and I will stick to that. I will stick to that. That perhaps once we figure out a counterspell or an anti-spell or whatever, we can use Shalami's magic snow to spread that counterspell. The thing that fucked them can now unfuck them. That would be really cool, actually. Including what happened to your friends. Never give up, don't abandon hope. And you're not alone anymore. You got me now. You have at least one friend. And yeah, even Vermilio is much happier about the conclusion of saving everyone. And yeah, first time we really see Helck, like, show this much emotion. All this time he was bottling it up, hiding it behind a smile or indifference. Now he's actually crying. Now he actually lets it all out. Great therapy. Great therapy. Vermilio would be best friends with Shy. They both have therapy powers and they both have fire powers, right? Brace yourselves, I'm gonna save the shit out of you. This is probably the wrong choice. Wrong. Sure, you might have to sustain some heavy losses in the process, yes. It won't be as easy as just eradicating humanity, yes. But you stand to gain so much more. You stand to restore the status quo from the years past when humanity and demonkind were on friendly terms, when they were allies, right? You stand to gain that. You could glass the human kingdom and eradicate all the humans, but all you would get out of it is relative peace and a lot of glass. But if you go above and beyond, if you go a step further, you gain humanity. You still gain the peace, but you also gain a lot of allies, a lot of friends, a lot of potentials for trade, for maybe moving some of your people to the human side if they are, I don't know, somehow susceptible to the miasma, right? You stand to gain a lot from this whole thing. Even if I welcomed Helck to the Empire, he would never feel happy deep down. Yeah, because he would have to live with the knowledge that he killed all of his friends and he killed all of humanity. And that, of course, would not sit well with him. Save humans and save Helck. This also saves Helck from falling into that pit of I don't want to say being a villain, but falling into that pit of being the one responsible for everything. Right? It saves him in more ways than one. I have no way of knowing, sure. And yeah, there's no proof they can't be returned to normal. What proof do we have? Mikaros says so. That's all the proof we have. That's pretty fucking piss poor proof, if you ask me. On the contrary, we have the proof to the opposite. Edil Edil and Hura, that is proof to the opposite. That alone means Mikaros is probably full of shit. That alone. Oh, Azura is dead. No, the fuck he isn't. You know how many times he died? He's a cockroach. He popped back to life immediately after his heart stopped. Probably some Unga Bunga weird ancient magic. Until I actually see it with my own two eyes, he's alive, yeah? And of course he is alive. In the classic state of being wrapped in bandages. It's actually crazy how uplifting this episode is. Right? Everything was converging to the point of ultimate despair. Helck needs to kill Alicia. Helck needs to kill Raphaed. Humanity needs to die. Some select few might be able to break through mind control, but not if Mikaros scrambles their minds. Right? It went into the pits of despair, and in the final episodes we have a sudden surge upwards. That's not what I expected. That's really not what I expected. I expected either a continued fall downwards into the pits of despair, or I expected a more a balanced approach. Okay, Azura survived, but Helck still had to kill Alicia. I know. Raphaed was killed, but Shalami will mourn the fact and will turn herself against Helck. Or, I expected some balance here to be kept, but no, we are pretty much just going upwards. Constantly upwards. It's incredibly uplifting, incredibly hopeful. There is so much hope in this episode, so much sheer hope. We don't even kill Raphaed, which is something I was really hoping for, but then I remind myself that he is Helck's father figure, and if he can be saved somehow, let's save Raphaed. Let's show him that not everything is just bad. You don't need to have such a defeatist attitude. Let's show him that humanity can be saved, and maybe he will join our side. Because right now it really feels to me like Raphael just succumbed to despair. Nothing can be done. We can't save them. We can't do anything. Nothing can ever be better, so I can at least carve out a life for myself and my daughter. Let's show him that he doesn't need to carve out shit. That we can just solve this whole entire issue. You don't really believe you can save them, do you? Yes, I do. And he just turns around and walks away. We'll save them for sure. This is Azura. Young Azura, isn't it? And this is someone. Yellow hair. I know, Helck has blue hair, Kless has white. Could their father have yellow hair? Is that Hero Slayer on his hip, though? I don't know. I genuinely really don't know what's exactly going on here, except that it's Azura's memory. Castle Shin. And yeah, good question. Will Pee-wee actually survive? Thankfully, we have carriages. Vermilio is safe. One thing that was missing in this episode was what happened to Asta and Shalami. That was missing. right? We see that everybody essentially gets a good ending. Everybody is fine, everybody survived, there is hope for saving humanity, etc., 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 but we don't see Asta and Shalami. Now, I don't think that they were executed by Rafaed or anything like that. I still fully believe that they are just both under house arrest in Shalami's room. But still, we haven't seen anything of them. And that makes me ever so slightly uneasy. Because why would they show us that everyone is fine, including the like secondary, tertiary demon characters who we've seen like twice, and one of those times was when they died, supposedly. Why would we show that they are fine and alive, but we didn't show anything of Asta? Southern base was discovered by humans, yeah, letter from Vermilio, and we will save humanity. Off to the demon realm. And yeah, this is just scenes from throughout the season. I don't know why exactly. I guess it showed us some significant moments of Helck having fun, Helck crying, Helck having Vermilio support, something like that. I really thought that it might have been like a teaser to the second season, but alas. Alas. Let me check, actually. Do we know anything potentially about Helck Season 2? There must be a Season 2 coming, right? No way, they're adapting a manga that was finished years ago, only halfway through. Okay, so 24 episodes is basically half of the manga. So yeah, it would stand to reason that we get another 24 episodes to finish the manga's story. And the only results I'm getting is like bullshit clickbait sites that just say, oh, Helck has not been renewed for a second season. Duh. If you don't have info about that, then just don't say anything, right? Okay. Let's start with the theories. We have quite a lot of them to go through. There we go. Yeah, I had to split Helck theories into like 2 separate parts because I ran out of space. Where's the first one? There it is. Whew. Let's begin. Angels are humans turned against their will. Oh, the early episodes, the early theories. That is of course true. Villagers were sacrificed to summon angels. Kinda, sorta. They were turned into angels, so I guess yellow. Vermilio's condition for casting fire is anger. No, there isn't really any condition to that. She can just cast it however and whenever. Helck's brother got corrupted or something and Helck needed to stop it. Kinda, sorta, maybe? Kinda, sorta, but not really. Helck being framed for fratricide? No. Simpler times. Demon Realm is inhabited by migrants. The actual residents are monsters and New World life forms. Well, not New World life forms, but we don't know whether the Demon Realm actually is inhabited by demons because it is, or did they just were thrown into that pit of miasma from some other places. So I'm just gonna leave it unhighlighted. Helck's shiv is a broken sword blade. Yes. His brothers? No. No, it was Alicia's sword. Toxin and its source are important, probably, but we don't have any confirmation of that. We are not yet dealing with the miasma. Villagers were turned into mindless angel fodder, correct. Helck wants demons and humans to coexist in peace. Ultimately, yes. Helck's brother wanted coexistence, told Helck, church, king, whatever, didn't like that, banished Helck, imprisoned, or killed brother. Oh, none of that. Tell ya what. Again, simpler times when I believed that the answers are much simpler. Helck's brother was experimented on to develop heroification process. For the most part, yeah. Helck was ostracized and chased away. Not really. Helck swore to settle it with Human King. Not really. Helck reconnects with one of old friends and they join the team. Not yet, but I can fully see us meet Edil and break the mind control and Edil joins us, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Witch is a human or a demon. We don't know anything more about the witch. Human King is Helck's brother. Probably not, unless he has another brother still. Witch is a demon and Vermilio's mother or family, we don't know that. Vermilio stops Helck's rampage more than one time. Tothman tribe was experimented on by humans before human trials of heroification, we don't know that for sure. So I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Continued. Helck and Vermilio discover other races experimented on by humans. We don't know if any experimentation was actually underway, so I'm just gonna say no. Because we don't really discover any new races in the first place, just the Tothmans and the other nation. Vermilio makes allies to demonkind, as in some other nation joins our battle. Not really, but it could still very well happen. Maybe the final battle with humanity and the Tothmans and the other ones just come to our help. Something like that. So I'm just gonna leave it. Purple magic of Tothman King is somehow unnatural. I would say it's a fair assumption. Tothman King is in the area. Tothman King was in the area of Hex of Darkness. Right, the Hex of Darkness that Augis made use of. We don't have a confirmation or denial of that, so I'm gonna leave it. Humans researched Hex of Darkness and experimented on Tothman King. We don't know, although I guess it's fair to assume. I guess maybe Mikaros could have actually researched that hex. Turncoat on the human side, Helmet Lady. Probably in the future, but not right now, so I'm gonna leave it. Harul gets captured. No, he didn't. Maybe in the future, but not in this season, so no. Heroification process is being refined thanks to data brought by Angels. Expect Angels 2.0. No, not really. Doesn't really seem that way to me. Asdra's friend from the past had hero-killing sword and is related to Helck. Right, so we've seen that guy before, haven't we? I'm still unsure, so I'm gonna leave it. Kless is being experimented on to figure out the heroification process to mass produce. Kinda, sorta. I guess yellow it is. Shalamin, Rafa, Ed die trying to shelter Kless or are taken hostage so Kless cooperates then killed. Oh no. Oh no. Mikaros is sass. Oh, very much so. The most sassy baka out of all the characters here. Lady Hero with bird helmet is Alicia, leader of Mercs. Yes. Helck resents humans because they turned his friends into... into 4 heroes, among other things. Human King started the monster outbreak to weaken the demons and create a casus belli. Not really. Human King really just seems like an empty husk right now, so he couldn't have. Demon Realm has resources humanity wants. Demon Realm has resources that not humanity wants, but Mikaros wants. Human King has a way to make the demon lands habitable after conquering them. We don't know that, but I would bet not. Certainly hasn't been shown in this season. War with Demons is there just to have an external foe, unify the people, justify raising taxes. No. It was there to justify turning people into monsters, not raising taxes. It was Kless's teammates who defeated Thor. Then shut Kless up so he doesn't speak for peace and can be milked for hero serum. Kinda, sorta. It was Kless's teammates who defeated Thor gets yellow because it was Mikaros. Then shut Kless up so he doesn't speak for peace and can be milked for hero serum. That much is true. Kless was attacked with the hero killing sword. I mean, eventually, but not back at the Castle Thorn. So, red. Raphael is 100% sus. I would say 80% sus, so yellow. Demonkin were implanted, injected with something to turn them feral for show. Yeah, stands to reason. The big show during the flashback. Raphael wants power. Probably not. That's not the vibe I'm getting, at least. Heroification makes you obey the king unconditionally, so the detractors like Zelgion, Edil, Alicia get forcibly injected with it. Heroification makes you obey the king unconditionally, but they weren't really like forcibly injected with it. Rather, it was just the AoE spell over the entire human lands, so I guess yellow. Alicia is the bird helmet hero. Oh, that appears for the second time. Of course, that is true. Helck is a hero among heroes, not even the hero slayer can slay him. Yeah, actually. He was stabbed with the hero slayer and survived. King is Mikaros' puppet. Mikaros was King's puppet. Certainly not. King is Mikaros' puppet? Probably, but we don't have a full confirmation. Black aura is strong negative emotions or evil incarnate. I would say it is strong negative emotions. Not evil incarnate, though. Third party involvement, evil god, dragon, something like that, gave the king his powers. Well, in this case, Mikaros, but still, could be. A king is some sort of a supernatural being, evil god, demon from hell, humanity's evil incarnate, maybe. Kless is not dead, hooked to machinery that barely keeps him alive, so he can be a catalyst, yes. Black aura is lower emotions, higher emotions suppress it. I'm gonna leave it. Killing the king does undo the spell, contrary to what Mikaros and Raphael claim. We won't know until the king is actually dead. The green ball Pee-wee picked up in episode 19 at 1612 is important. Maybe. Was it actually? Can't remember. Someone, King or Mikaros, killed the demon lord, then posed as him and defeated Kless. Someone, Mikaros, killed the demon lord, not the king, and didn't pose as Thor to defeat Kless. The castle is the key to heroification. Plausible. The journal belongs to the king, we don't know that. He noted down his plans to revive his loved ones and protect the kingdom. To that end, gave up his humanity. We don't know anything about the king. Raphael has enough pull on the king and or Mikaros to guarantee Shalami's safety. I mean, that much is evident. I just wonder how exactly. Mikaros keeps Shalami around to repopulate the world. We don't know that. New World is some other dimension or something. We don't know that. Hero powers are based in a new world. We don't know that. New World is a hypothetical state of the current world with human monsters, magic all elevated. We don't know that. Mikaros and Asdra are technically heroes. We don't know that. Shalami's skill can help unfuck the world. We don't know that. Whatever power source Mikaros needs is in the demon territory. That's why the war, yes. He says so himself. Class is the source of hero powers being spread. Sure, I guess, stands to reason. Vermilio needs to burn Mikaros to truly stop him. Possible. Helck kills Alicia with a smile, letting her go. Hasn't happened, and I guess it's a fair assumption that it will just not happen. Period. There we go. Where's the first page? As the first page. Second. Third. And a half. Not bad. Not a bad statistic, I would say. Okay. Let's talk about this episode now. It was a very good episode. Certainly. It really was surprising to me just how uplifting it was. I fully expected them to reach the depths of despair or something along those lines, with maybe one or two good things happening, or some bittersweet ending or something along those lines, because we've been going in that direction, right? We've been going more and more and more into despair. I mentioned it in pretty much every episode, how we thought that the heroification can be reversed, but it turns out that killing the king just makes them rampage. Oh, so maybe Edil can join us? No, Mikaro scrambled his head. Right? All the outs that we would otherwise have, that we would otherwise find, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. We're just immediately whack-a-moled by the show, telling us that no, this is not a way that we can follow. They have countermeasures. It won't work. And it was done at every step. So I fully expected this episode to also go in that direction, and maybe that, as I said, that little light in the tunnel being a bittersweet ending to Alicia, where Helck gets over her death and understands that she died the moment she was turned, and with a smile kills her and frees her soul that way, and she smiles at the last moment saying thank you for fulfilling my wish or something along those lines. That's how I expected it to go. I got the complete opposite. This finale wasn't even, this episode wasn't even bittersweet in any way, shape, or form. Nothing that we thought went badly actually went badly. Asdra survived. Alicia, even after having her mind scrambled by Mikaros, still recognized Helck and was able to hug him and cry and not attack him at first sight. Not even Raphael died. Not even Raphael died. At every moment I'm waiting for some whatchamacallit? for some like cleansing moment of Helck being able to like cut someone's head off, right? To free his frustrations and his anger and give it an out and just chop Raphael's head right off, or cleave Mikaros in half, or something like that. At every step I'm expecting that, but no. No. Instead, we're going for something much more hopeful, much less dripping with blood. It's not a story of vengeance, it's not a story of revenge. This is a story of hope and of saving. It's interesting. It's really interesting how big of a roller coaster it was, right? We were going steadily down and down and down, and with this episode it just shot up straight into the sky. Interesting, certainly an interesting choice. I'm glad it went this way though. I'm really glad, because killing humanity, killing his friends would really destroy Helck, would make him an empty husk that's just focused on revenge and can't just even experience joy in his life, because he will have to live for the rest of his life with the knowledge of what he did. Sure, he saved the demons, but humanity is no more, and they fell at his hands. Sure, Vermilio is his friend, but he had to kill his friends. Okay, he can live at the Empire, but his hands are blood-soaked. And he would know no peace. Neither would Vermilio, if she was an accomplice. It certainly would not sit well with her. Now that she knows what's the nature of humanity's problems. And even before that, demons, their goal wasn't to eradicate humanity. Their goal wasn't to eradicate the human kingdom. Their goal was to just protect themselves. Kill the king, kill Mikaros maybe, and just that. So being a part of a genocide really would not sit well with anybody, and they would have to live with that. It's cool. It's really cool. From pits of despair, soaring back towards hope. I really enjoyed this episode. It also weirdly worked as a finale. Like, sure, okay, we did get the big battle of a finale. It was, I'd even argue, animated a little bit better than other fights in Helck, right? Vermilio spinning around with flames pouring out of her hands, that alone was really cool. So there's that we did get the final battle of this season. It wasn't as big of a battle as I expected. I fully expected it to be a fight with the king, or a fight with Mikaros, or something big and meaningful. Meanwhile, we just tussled around with Raphael, and Raphael just walked away, and that wasn't really like any conclusion, any closure, anything like that. But we did get closure in other ways. And we did get a new direction. This episode worked as a finale because of how much it changed the status quo, how much it changed our goals, how much it changed our journey, how much it changed our characters. Big things happened in this episode, and it didn't need a fight with a big bad monster for it to feel big. The changes that occurred was enough. And I'd even argue that it was better than this whole episode just being fight with Raphael and Raphael dying pierced by Helck's Hero Slayer Shiv. Right? I'd argue it would just be worse. It would just be simpler. And it still wouldn't feel good because it would ultimately just be one small tiny little battle, not even a summary to any overarching arc. Just Raphael dies, whoop-de-doo. He wasn't even that big of a part of this whole scheme. This feels much better. This feels much better. And I guess I have my answer that I asked early on. Or early on. Did I? Or was it earlier? Why do some anime that have the big battle and like grand ending, grand finale, don't really feel like they have a finale? And I guess that's because the finale doesn't change anything in those shows. Like, okay, sure, the big cyber T-Rex is dead now, but it's just another enemy except slightly bigger. So, okay, the battle was fun and all, and it was hype, but ultimately it didn't change anything. It was just another episode, but scaled up. Meanwhile, in here, we did get a lot of change, a lot of important things happening, and that's what matters for a finale, I think. That it changes things, be it by changing status quo, be it by closing some loose threads, be it by eliminating an important enemy, whatever, as long as it changes things. And it works. It really works as a finale. I really was surprised how well it works as a finale, to be honest with you. I fully expected to hate it as a finale, like, oh, nothing important happened, Raphael didn't even die, what's this bullshit? But no, it worked. It worked really, really, really well. Great episode, great finale, more, please. I'm still wondering what was that like after credits scene though. And also, I guess if there was one criticism I would have for this episode as a finale, is that it didn't close all of the loose threads. I mean, a finale of a season isn't supposed to close all of the loose threads, but I expected at least to see Asta and Shalami in house arrest at the castle. I expected at least that. Or Asta in prison or whatever, but I expected at least a tiny little scene to see what happened to them. Because this is the biggest question mark right now. Besides that, as I said, amazing episode, amazing finale, 10 out of 10. Now, the season as a whole. The season as a whole. The show so far as a whole, rather. Story-wise, I have very little qualms. The story is great. I really like where it's going. I really like how it becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. From the point where, as you could see during me reading my theories, from the point where the theories were very simple, like, oh, Helck was, a danger to the king, so he chased him away, he framed him for fratricide, and Helck had to run away. Right from very simple ideas like that to interdimensional tomfuckery with ancient magic and like just mind-blowing things. I really like that progression. I really like that it doesn't just assault us from the get-go with all that stuff. We have the time to learn about it slowly at our own pace, internalize all of that, be able to theorize about it. It works. It just works really well. So that's good. That's cool. I really enjoy that this story is also how do I say it? Hmm. It's also ultimately hopeful. Even if I go back, there was rarely a moment in the story where I felt like complete despair, besides maybe the flashback episodes. But besides that, there was always some light in the tunnel, there was always some chance. So that was cool. I really was afraid that from being this fairly light-hearted comedic show, it's just going to turn into a Berserk 2.0. But no, no, not quite. We don't reach the depths of despair. There is still place for comedy, even in this very episode. Right? Helck's funny face with tiny eyes. Haha, a knee slapper, right? I'm glad that this show didn't lose itself. That there is still space for adventure, there is still space for laughs, there is still space for comedy, there's a lot of space for hope. It didn't just devolve into misery porn. Because there were times when I was really afraid of this show just devolving into misery porn, and I already created scenarios of the final episode of this entire show being Helck not being able to live with his crimes, slitting his own throat. Like, there were times where I fully saw that as a possibility. But no, we don't devolve into misery porn at any given point. So, story's really good. It's really fresh as well. There are very few like usual anime tropes. Characters are actually smart. They can actually come up with the same ideas that other person came up with. If something makes sense, then it makes sense. And everybody is able to come to the same conclusion individually. That struck me the most. When Vermilio figured out Asdra's plans so easily. That was really good. The show is just smart and intelligent in its storytelling. It doesn't beat you over the head with, hey, did you get that? Did you get that? Let me repeat that again if you didn't get it. It assumes that there are some things that you will figure yourself out. Or not. But then, hey, that's on you. What else to say about the story? It was just good. It certainly shows its age at times, but in a good way. In a good way because it's a show from the time where stories weren't as safe, probably not the best word to use here, not as cookie cutter, right? Like, isekai sells, so we make isekai, and right now the popular flavor of isekai is misery isekai, so let's make our characters miserable. And in the span of 3 seasons, you get 15 shows where the main character gets isekai'd from Japan, and they are being shunned and beaten, and they lose an arm, and they get all broody and start killing people indiscriminately, right? This show is from times before that. And it's cool. It's really cool. It almost feels experimental at times. It certainly feels high effort. It wasn't just written for marketing, right? Marketing decided that this is what sells, so we will write a story exactly with those plot points because that's what sells. No, someone had an idea for a story, someone told that story, and it was successful. Bravo, very much appreciated. Yeah, story good shit. Presentation. I didn't have pacing issues, which is interesting because some episodes felt fairly slow. I was afraid that we might have some issues with slow pacing, but ultimately they were filled with things that needed to be there. We didn't have like inconsequential fillers. or battles that take 5 episodes for someone to draw back their arm for a punch, like Dragon Ball or whatever. Pacing was good for a show that's double core, particularly. Because we have to take that into account, right? They don't need to rush through the material, they have enough time. The one and only issue I have with the pacing in this show was the flashback arc. By the last 2-3 episodes of the flashback, I just really couldn't be asked to care about anything that was happening there. I just wanted it to end. They really overstayed their welcome with the flashback. But that's pretty much my only criticism. A major one, make no mistake, a major one, but still, I would really much rather they scatter those flashbacks throughout the season. Maybe have 3 episodes of a flashback, 2 episodes of Vermilio and Helck traveling, and then 3 more episodes of a flashback, or something like that. But just staying this long in a flashback that we know how will end, right? We know how Alicia ends, we know how Edil, Harul, Zelgion, we know how they end, we know what happens, so it also strips the flashback of any and all tension. It's just an explanation, not a story in its own right. Kinda, sorta. That didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but I'm just gonna stick with it because I don't know how else to put it. Major issue, certainly, but at the same time, it didn't detract from my overall enjoyment of the show. It didn't make me like drop Helck or wish that I was watching something else, or dread watching the next episode and delay watching it. No, none of that. So I guess it worked well, ultimately. Art style and animation, fairly reserved for as animation goes. Plenty of stills, plenty of sliding PNGs, but the style of the show kinda lends itself to it. The art style itself is very, very simplistic, right? Very simple shapes with very simple shading, no super fancy effects. Again, very 90s, early 2000s vibes. So seeing a sliding PNG or a still isn't as jarring as when you have a show that has amazing art style and suddenly you see a hyper detailed character slide around a hyper detailed background. It doesn't fit well. Not so much in Helck. Very simple art style, but also very efficient. Very efficient. The characters look the part. What matters is there, like Vermilio's eyebrows, for example. She's so expressive with them, so they are there. The bits and pieces that matter for a character's design are there. And also the designs are used in a very smart way. Raphael, for example, his cloak that just covers his entire body, it's just a purple trapezoid with a head. That's essentially Raphael's design. Purple trapezoid with a head. And yet it used in very smart and interesting ways, like Raphael pulling out his arm with his sword and the cape being draped over it. It really adds that cool factor. So even with those very limited designs, they are making the most out of them. So I'd rather that than a show with overcomplicated designs that doesn't utilize them. That just has boring fights, boring talks, boring action. I'd rather what Helck did. So it really sits well with me. From what I've seen from the few manga panels you guys posted on my Discord as well. By the way, you can join it. It's here, free to everybody. It's also fairly faithful to the manga. A little bit maybe simplified at times. Manga has a little bit more shading, maybe sometimes, but not in a big way. Not in a big way. So that's also good. They didn't rethink the entire art style, because why? It worked well with the manga. People liked it because people liked the manga. So why change what's already good, right? I also have to mention the designs of characters and places and environments. I think I mentioned it somewhat early on during this show, that they really are giving me the vibes of, like, again, early 90s or 2000s at the most, when almost sometimes like Miyazaki vibes, where the characters aren't really like categorized. Demon, okay, but whether a demon has red skin or horns or different horns or wings on the head, I know, doesn't matter. They just look cool, they look dope, they look diverse. They're all demons, whatever. The inhabitants of the island, that was probably the best example. Completely outlandish designs. Do we have names for their species? No. Does it matters? Also no. For all we know, they all could be Scrimblow, the species of Scrimblow, but Scrimblow is simply so diverse that they take all shapes and sizes like that. It doesn't matter. Many anime nowadays, and not just anime, but like manga and light novels, are almost obsessed with like codified world building. We have those 5 species of humanoids and only those 5 species. Demons have 2 horns. A demon with 1 horn cannot exist. They also have red skin. We cannot have demons with blue skin, right? Elves have long ears and fair skin. We cannot have elves with darker skin. We cannot have elves wearing red. Elves always wear green, right? Everything is like written down in a wiki, and the creators keep to that and can't really stray in any way. Same goes for magic systems sometimes, which is fun, can be fun. Like in 7 Spellblades, for example, I had a lot of fun with the magic system in 7 Spellblades. But there is also some certain appeal to a magic system that's just, I control fire. I can summon fire spirits, I can shoot fire, I can shoot fireballs, I can light things on fire. I control fire. That's my magic. There's no Zwei Hyper Fireball, which means that Hyper makes it stronger and Zwei makes it double in size, because that's like the magic system. Rather, big fireball without any chant, without any cast, just cast a big fireball. Same goes for characters. The designer had an idea for a cool looking character, so they added them. They had a cool design for Hura, so they used a cool design for Hura. They didn't bother writing a whole document about their people's dietary restrictions or whatever. No, they had an idea for a white-haired, blue-skinned, black-eyed chick, and they added her to the show. That's it. No, like, big, huge thinking about it. The thing that brought Helck's and Vermilio's boat from the island, the, like, deer thing. What is it? I don't know. It just is. It just exists. There are more of it, and they just go from one continent to another. We needed something like that. It appeared. It doesn't have an entire taxonomy about it because it's not needed. I really, really appreciate that. It's really cool. Also, not just that, but designs in general, like the carriages that they show at the end of this episode. It's just a house on wheels, dragged around by a dog. Because why not? Why not? Why does a carriage need to look like a carriage? Why can't it look like an onion or a pumpkin, right? It can. It can look like a house. If the designer feels like it's a cool design, they can just add it. They don't need to wonder about the, like, how will it fare on the unpaved roads of the Demon Kingdom, because from the world building documents, the roads in Demon Kingdom aren't actually paved, so they are very right. There's none of that. I really like it. It's fresh. It's incredibly, incredibly fresh compared to all the other shows that I've been watching that have been like categorized and taxonomy to death almost. Which again can be cool in its own right, but the fact that Helck doesn't follow that scheme is very fresh and I really like it. Anything else? Voice actors. Again, I don't speak native Japanese, so I can't really like fully tell whether they did a good job or not, but to my ears they did a good job, so hey, props to them. No like particularly outstanding performances that I would notice particularly much, but also just good performances. Again, I can't really judge it all that well, so I'm just gonna say I liked it. The voices fit everybody, so the casting was also good. Music and sound. Again, nothing particularly outstanding. It's not like Shangri-La where every so often I just have to squeeze my headphones closer to my ears to listen to a beat, and it's something that I actually notice. I did not notice that much music in Helck. Sometimes like a rising music for Hope or some I think chorus appeared like once or twice. So, but that's also good. That's also good because bad music is when you notice it. Really good music is when you notice it. Good music is when you don't notice it. It's just ambience. So it was good. It was good music. The sound wasn't grating at any point either, so it was serviceable. It did the job well. It worked. That's also good. Yeah, I think that's it as far as like technicalities go, unless I forgot to mention something else. Nah, I don't think so. So, to sum it up, really good show, with the only issue being the flashback arc. I really wasn't too fond of that being that long, but ultimately not that big of a blemish on the face of an otherwise amazing show. Really liked it. I really want more. I really want a second season. Please give us a second season, especially since apparently this season covered half the manga. So all you need now is 24 more episodes and you get the manga covered. Please, please. Or maybe like 12 episodes twice. That would also be perfectly agreeable. Or like 12 episodes, then 8 episodes and a movie. Or I don't know, but please tell the entirety of the story. It's too good to just let it rot in a limbo. I enjoyed myself really much. I really like the characters as well. Characters is something I didn't talk about. I really like the characters. Usually there is at least like one character that I find annoying, especially if they are mascot characters. I'm really not a fan of mascot characters. Not so much in Helck. Every character is like real, behaves like a real person would. Nobody is stupid or obtuse on purpose. Everybody has their own goals, their own aspirations, their own character. Even characters like Pee-wee. Pee-wee, I really was afraid that he, as a mascot character, is just going to be annoying as fuck, but he isn't. The creators of the show know when to use Pee-wee, when to show him, when to not. When Pee-wee jumping into the frame, going Pee-wee, 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 would just be annoying. So they just don't do that. I really like Helck as a character. I really like Vermilio in particular. I really like the fact that we actually follow Vermilio ultimately and not Helck. And that Helck is this mysterious figure for the majority of the show, and we slowly discover him, learn about him through Vermilio's eyes. That's a very interesting approach, and I really, really liked it a lot. every character is deep. Every character has some depth. Even Rafaed, what he shows on the surface is not entirely what he has inside. Even Mikaros has certain motivations that drove him to what he's doing. His motivations aren't I want power or I'm a racist and I want to eradicate demons. No, he has his own goals, his own aspirations, and he has his own backstory, what made him this way. It's cool. I really like how the characters were portrayed here. I really like the use of like otherwise secondary characters. I like that Kenros matters, that Hura matters, that Hura arguably got a really big role meeting up with Edil. Dorsch is a recurring character. I don't know, it's just cool. I really like the cast. I really like the characters. I like their portrayal. It's just good, like the rest of the show, honestly. Just like the rest of the show. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me. Again, to sum it up, good show, good episode. Please give me more. Season 2 when? If you learn about Season 2 earlier than I, please let me know. Like, ping me on my Discord or something. Because I really want to watch. I really want to watch the second season, and I'm not gonna pick up the manga because I know the second season is gonna come out, and I don't want to spoil myself. So we just need to wait now, right? We just need to wait. But yeah, I think right now that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys, you tell me in the comments down below, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, my theories of this show as a whole, this season rather. Tell me all about it in the comments below. No spoilers, please, I beg of you, no spoilers. If you do want to talk spoilers, they can go to my Discord here. Also in the description, there's a Helck channel where you can post them at your heart's content. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel somewhere down there to be notified of future videos of Helck Season 2 whenever that comes out, but also Magia Record, Shy, Shangri-La Frontier, Shield Hero, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live because I do stream sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube itself via memberships, super thanks, stuff like that, also down below. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Without Undead, The Gopus Viber, Zayrainer, Aquamaster, Dr. Watt, Marsh, Yuki, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without having to face Alicia, your Alicia, whoever that might be for you.